All right, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. And we carry on our discussion with my two guests here. But let me read a bit of your feedback right now. Remember, 22422 is the SMS line, and the hashtag is Newsnight. These are some of your thoughts. All right, I think we'll take about 4 of them. There's so many, we can't go through all of them. Sudful, you say it's time to rise above tribal bigotry. Vote in leaders who show us clear strategies in solving pertinent issues affecting the litigants. Okay, Sudfully, thank you for that. Let's see what else we have. Engineer Lazaro Kanyambok, you say negative utterances being peddled by politicians at their rallies should now stop. Elections aren't a matter of life and death. We shall need one another after the polls. All right, let's see what else you're saying out there. Remember, the hashtag is Newsnight. Kibereng Jr. asked Kipchumba Murkomen, why did they have no problem with opinion polls in 2019, in 2020, in 2021 when they showed DP Ruto leading, but now they don't agree with them when Raila is leading? Does it mean opinion polls only make sense to them when they are leading? Okay, he'll respond to that. And, Wanja Douglas, I'd be happy to hear from Kajwang and Murkomen what message of peace they have for their respective political divides and for Kenya. I'll give them a chance, Wanja, at the end of the program. These are a few others as well. David Jugunde, you're saying, can you ask Moses Kajwang what he means by having volunteers? That's not allowed. Imagine if every side has volunteers sticking around polling stations after people have voted. It's not a good thing. So I'll give him a chance to respond to that. Level-headed Malafide, you say it's a very balanced discussion, very sober indeed. Save for the insults in rallies, Kenyans remain peaceful. We hope this collegiality remains during and after elections. And many are applauding you for a very, they're saying a very sober conversation. That's pretty much some of the sentiments here, but I want to read one more. Kindly ask Honorable Murkomen what criteria they use in their internal opinion polls, since the other day on Daybreak, Honorable Mwaura said they are now at 70%. And he's telling us they're at 53 to 56%. And one last one, still to you, Murkomen, from Chester Nyantika. He would like to know your stance. For discussion's sake, if the president had endorsed Kenya Kwanza in the looming polls, would they be referring to their candidate as a state project, as they've labeled the other candidate?
That's a good question. What was the initial...
So there are 2 questions on opinion polls.
There was opinion polls.
Yes.
I don't know the first one, but the second one was whether we would...
2019, 2020, 2021, you are okay?
I think Kiberenge, I know him because he follows me on Twitter and likes engaging me on Twitter. But I just wanted to say this, that Mr. Kiberenge, we have not lost any opinion polls. So I don't know which opinion polls is saying we have a problem now.
Saying you're disparaging some of the current ones.
That is their stand, and it has never changed. For them, it has always been, we are behind. But for us, we are saying that they are not the only opinion pollsters. If you get my point, is that the problem is glorification of 2 companies vis-a-vis many other companies that are doing opinion polls. And this is something that perhaps I have seen some of the media polls, opinion polls you do online on your page. And the other day you deleted when William Ruto
We've never deleted.
You deleted. You want me to bring evidence next time?
We've never deleted, Senator.
So I'm just saying, even the other day, some of your sister companies, not Royal Media, but the other media companies in the country, when after I think it was after the debate or after we launched our manifesto, the online opinions were very high, and then suddenly they are deleted. So the point is this, like Moses said, and I agree with him, the Msema Kweli is on Tuesday next week. You know, the people of Kenya will go to the polls and now vote. I believe that really that many Kenyans now are decided. You know, what we are doing now is just complete the last round of making people get out and come and vote. I wish in Kenya we would do what the Democrats did in... was that in Georgia? Yeah, for them to win the Senate seat. In Georgia, they had to do a lot of work. I am forgetting the name of the lady. she's really remembered for the work she did after losing the gubernatorial race. She went back to do a lot of get the voters out to vote for the Democrats. And I hope that both sides can do the same and give Kenyans a chance to have one of the most highest turnout in terms of the elections.
Okay.
On the other thing about...
If Uhuru Kenyatta had endorsed William Ruto, would you be okay with William Ruto being called a project?
Uhuru Kenyatta needed not to endorse William Ruto. Because
no, if he did...
I'm just saying, he needed not to endorse. It was just natural that in the party hierarchy, he was the party leader, William Ruto was the deputy party leader, and that if he exited and allowed William Ruto to succeed, and even with his endorsement or without, within the Jubilee hierarchy, no one would have called William Ruto a project because he spent more than 20 years or in different times, you know, in like 4 elections, he has supported Uhuru Kenyatta. So it would have been natural. Even many people expected that that was just going to be a natural. There was not going to be a project tag. The same way, if William Ruto exits presidency in future and supports somebody from UDA, that person cannot be a project. But for the president to do what he did in this situation, first of all, to move away from his party, destroy the party, destroy and fight William Ruto consistently, remove all of us from the different positions and continue fighting us, taking people to court, jail, and and all those kind of things, just for purpose of destroying William Ruto and going to pick another person and push him by force. That created a project tag. If, for example, Raila Odinga came to Jubilee, for argument's sake, and found William Ruto within Jubilee, and they competed in the party primaries, and Raila Odinga won, it would not have been a project.
That's a very interesting scenario you've set up. Go ahead, you know, and also respond to this message.
The unfortunate thing is that whenever we start positive messaging about the future of this country, our competitors quickly go back to sour graping on why Uhuru Kenyatta did not fulfill his kumi yangu na kumi ya Ruto promise. And even today, and I listened to it in your broadcast today, but I think the Deputy President was in central Kenya, that there is this fight for survival that then has reduced Kenya to the vote for the mountain region, such that the other regions don't seem to matter anymore in terms of messaging, that everyone is trying to outdo themselves to appeal to the Mount Kenya region. And as important as that region is contributing more than a quarter of the country's GDP, I think it is unfair to other parts of this country that also deserve a mention and also deserve to be part of the agenda for the plans we have ahead. It is no secret that there's been a lot of grieving on the side of Murkomen's side, that President Uhuru Kenyatta has decided to support somebody else. Now, when they say Kenyatta picking somebody else, is a Kenyan, is a citizen of this country. And I think that President Uhuru Kenyatta has his own individual right to support any other Kenyan who presents himself for office. But why would then the president appear as if he's going against the grain and emphasizing to Kenyans that so-and-so would be better than the other? Look, these guys have been in an arrangement, one deputizing the other for the last 9 years. And perhaps they know each other better. There has been a lot of negative messaging and negative emphasis of the tenure of Uhuru Kenyatta. Not from our side, but from the side that was in bed with him in government. We have chosen to look at the positive things that Uhuru Kenyatta has done. And there are 2 things that Uhuru Kenyatta has done. Uhuru Kenyatta has been good at building bridges and building roads. In fact, if you were to ask me what is President Uhuru's legacy, it will be the 2, bridges in a literal sense. In 2013, who ever thought that Uhuru and Ruto would work together? It came as a surprise because there were ICC indictees on both sides, on opposite sides. He built a bridge there. In 2018, he built a bridge with Raila Amolo Odinga. While in 2013 it was celebrated and it led to victory, in 2018 it has been demonized and called all sorts of names. Because and Uhuru Kenyatta has not been...
It was breaking bridges.
By the time Uhuru Kenyatta built bridges with William Ruto, it meant probably someone else felt offended. And it's the same feeling that was carried over to 2018.
Not really.
And you see that legacy of building bridges, and to be fair to Uhuru Kenyatta, because I think in the remaining 1 week we should be reflecting on his legacy. It has not just been confined to Kenya. When South Sudan was in fire, he helped build bridges there. When DRC was in problems, he helped build bridges there. So this selective interpretation that shaking hands with William Ruto is superior to shaking hands with Raila Odinga, I think that is taking Kenyans for a ride. What does this country need? We said at the start of this show that for once, we seem not to be having a lot of jitters about people getting killed because of these elections. Leave alone the leaflets that Kipchumba is talking about. You know, the worst place for stirring some of these hateful views is social media. Social media is awash with messages worse than those leaflets that we are seeing on the ground. So those leaflets really do not worry me. I don't think that they're going to cause serious civil unrest or political unrest going into these elections. And you cannot discredit the role of Uhuru Kenyatta in ensuring that we are having this election where we are now saying that Msema Kweli will be next week and one party will have to call the other to congratulate them.
Okay.
Can I say something about that? First of all, it will be, we'll be lying to the public to credit President Uhuru Kenyatta with building bridges. And now that Moses has brought that debate, I think he has spent the last 4 years breaking every bridge that is built. There is no such a thing like building bridges while torturing and harassing and punishing your deputy president. There is no building bridges when you are persecuting and removing all your leadership, Duale, Kindiki, all of us from a very, Susan Kika, Washali. There is no building bridges where you are taking people to court selectively. There is no building bridges where you are closing people's accounts using KRA and all forth and punishing everybody who is a friend to William Ruto. The last 4 years have been, President Uhuru Kenyatta has been breaking every bridge he built. What President Uhuru Kenyatta, what President Kenyatta has succeeded to do, is to tame the troublemaker. President Uhuru Kenyatta has gone public and told the people of Kenya, and openly, that I shook hands with Raila Odinga because it was impossible for me to deliver any service to Kenya if Raila Odinga was still out there. And I did it for peace. And for that reason, therefore, inadvertently or unknown to him, acknowledged publicly that the only troublemaker in the nation is Raila Odinga. For now, that's a fair conclusion to make. Let me just finish. Let me finish.
Briefly, please.
Moses has said we now have relative peace. We have relative peace because for a moment, the troublemaker is optimistic that the deep state and the system will help him become president. Let me conclude. It's okay. Let me make the point. Waiga, don't be agitated. I didn't get agitated when Moses was making this statement. I became very calm.
No, I'm not agitated.
I know. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes, I agree. But I just want to conclude by saying that Uhuru Kenyatta succeeded in taming Raila, not to go back to the street, things about railway uprooting and mandamana and all that. He has done that. But for how long? What guarantees do we have that if he loses elections to William Ruto, that peace will continue? That's the only thing.
That's a question you posed tonight. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
You were to answer one question because we're out of time. Volunteers. There was a viewer who was concerned. Who are these volunteers you're talking about? What role will they be playing?
No, I think the viewer got it wrong because political parties have allowed candidates to have their own agents in polling stations. So, for example, the ODM party at every polling station will have a minimum of 6 agents. And then probably there'll be people helping to transport people to the polling station. When the counting is done in the evening, the agents are present, but you cannot exclude the public from being present because it's a public, ceremony. So we'll have more than 10 people in every polling station who will be witnesses to the final tally at the polling station and who will update the systems that we have for monitoring the election. But
I understood Moses to mean volunteers.
Yes.
Instead, not all agents are going to be paid, like I said.
Yes.
We have people who are willing to volunteer to become agents.
Okay.
Not necessarily that they must be paid. So it was volunteer from that perspective.
Okay.
But the viewer seems to have thought we were saying there will be some characters who are loitering around.
Corrected. I don't have to have a back and forth on individuals who are not here. I want to hear from you because one viewer asked, what's your message to Kenyans as they prepare for Tuesday?
I can, I can say.
You could allow me just to.
Then he'll have a right to. He'll want a right to reply, and we will go back and forth.
A reply to what Kipchumba mentioned. Remember, Wahiga, if you look at the Akiumi report on, there was an Akiumi report that looked at the causes of violence during elections, and historically, in the 90s, Krikla was the one after the post-election violence. Correct. But there was one that looked at, they were called tribal clashes.
Okay.
And the flashpoints tended to be places like Molo, places like Uasin Gishu, and areas where two communities were living together. The 2013,
Likoni, you should be mentioning.
Yes, there was also Likoni.
Kibera,
but the 2013 handshake,
not just mention,
the 2013 handshake between Uhuru and Ruto silenced the issues that tended to flare up around Rift Valley. And we must credit both parties for that. The 2018 handshake between Uhuru and Raila probably quelled the issues that also arose from other parts of the country where Raila Odinga had support. Now, once we get the results declared...
And I hope you're coming to your peace message, because that's where we're going to
next. Once we get to the results announced, our models indicate that we are going to win this election, but the opposition is going to get probably 40% of the vote. Now, that is not a number that you can ignore. Our models also indicate that even in Parliament, even in Parliament, the opposition is going to get a significant number that will prevent us from having an absolute majority.
No supermajority. Okay.
Now, how do you deal with this 40% that voted for somebody who is not in government and who feel that the government that they're not part of is going to discriminate against them? And that is why the next government, which we hope to form, beside dealing with the issues of livelihoods around reducing the prices of basic commodities, beside making sure that there's dignity for Kenyans to access basic services, beside dealing with corruption, this next government must also reach out to all those others who did not support it.
Okay.
Because the system that we have experimented with in the last 10 years is one that is more of a winner takes it all.
Okay.
And for me, my message of peace is that the Azimio team, once we win this election, we will deal with the urgent issues facing this nation, but we will also reach out to our political opponents, because at the end of the day, that opposition ends on the day of the election.
What's your message to your supporters in 10 seconds?
Our supporters should look at us. I mean, Murkomen wearing Ralph Lauren and accusing me of being a dynasty. that at the end of the day, he'll wear yellow, but it will be a designer yellow and convince you that that's a yellow for pushing wheelbarrows. At the end of the day, what matters, and I think this is important, because Murkomen and I, we have a lot of things in common. We're the same age, we're in the same institution, and our children are almost the same ages. What future are we building for our children? It's not about today. It's about the future of our children. It's about the future of this nation. And the elections that are coming up next week should not ban this country, because if we ban this country, there'll be nowhere for our children to go to. I just want to urge our supporters, turn out, vote, and then the outcome of the vote, let it decide who runs the government for the next 5 years.
Murkomen, what's your peace message? You need to wrap this up. You said we don't want to be here till midnight.
Like Moses said, for us, first of all, you can see Moses does not want to say anything about what they will do if they lose the elections. And you know that's the key point. That is the most important point for us to listen from ODM. We need to hear from their side. When they lose elections, what will they do? Yeah, because...
Is that your peace message?
No, before I come to my peace message. Yeah, because on our side, Waiga, we are in a competition. We are asking our voters to come, support us. I'm asking any Kenyan who is still undecided to vote on our side, because you are voting for the economy, jobs, and you are voting for the future of this country. And I'm asking them with utmost respect that if you give us the opportunity to serve you, we will serve every Kenyan, no matter where they come from, you know. It doesn't matter that it has been difficult for William Ruto to campaign in some areas of the country because of election intolerance on some side of our people. But when we form government, we will ensure that every part of the country is developed and they get a fair share of their national resources and fair share of representation in government.
Okay.
Number two, we do not intend in any way, even though our relationship with the opposition will be cordial, we don't intend in any way to emasculate the opposition. We want to assure Kenyans that we will not play games, these kind of games that will make Kenyans not have checks and balances in Parliament or outside Parliament. Our intention is to ensure that everybody gets the services they deserve, the opportunity they deserve, but that the opposition this time round, Raila Odinga, will have a free space to exercise his opposition politics against what we will be doing in government and put us into checks. Should we lose elections? Mm-hmm. Should we lose elections? Definitely. Definitely. We will concede and play the role that an opposition is supposed to do. And I'm saying that is in the most unlikely event. Kenyans should never expect, and I want Kenyans to look at me to the face, they should never expect any form of violence from our side, either by virtue of, in the name of Mandamano, or in the name of fighting to get a half share of government, or to be co-opted to government. Our idea of democracy is what we have professed publicly, that there must be competing sides in politics so that there's checks and balances, so that corruption is checked and the people of Kenya get an opportunity for better services. And I want to assure Kenyans that we will have a peaceful elections from where we stand in. We will ensure that we support IBC. We want President Uhuru Kenyatta, even though he's the chairman of Azimio, not to forget his uniting responsibility as the head of state in facilitating fair elections.
Thank you, thank you. He keeps asking you about conceding, and he says you've not said it?
No, I think Raila Odinga has been very clear that the processes are defined in the Constitution, and in every election there's a winner and there's a loser. And as long as we've gone through the process properly, the winners shall accept to rule and the losers shall accept to be in the position. But our models indicate that we are going to win this election.
When we're going to have to wrap it up there.
The final, this is not partisan. This is not partisan.
To both sides.
No, Wega, this is not partisan. And I think this is a message that even Kipchumba would join me in. To the parents whose children are at home, please, this is not the time to take a holiday. Please vote, because that's the only way our children can go back to school within a short time. If you disappear to Maldives and other places, this thing will be stretched for another 3 months. And for me, that would be the greatest appeal. Even if you don't like me in Homa Bay, turn out and vote for the president.
Fair point. And I believe Murkomen agrees with you on that one. And we're going to wrap it up there. I've got a very interesting message. Asbel Kiprop, athletics champion, says best interview he's watched in a while. So I've been here for a long time. I'm assuming it's the two of you is applauding. Well done. At least some out there feel that this is the kind of tone and rhetoric we needed out there at a time like this. Less than 6 days and counting. 6 days actually, and a couple of hours and counting to the August 9th polls. May peace prevail. And of course, we look forward to giving you all that coverage even as we count down to that particular day. Thank you so much, Senators Moses Kajwang, Kipchumba Murkomen, for joining me this evening. I need to release you. You've come from campaigning out there, and I know you're going back tomorrow morning. All the best with those remaining days. And for everyone who's tuned in, thank you for watching. We'll be here every day to keep you updated in the build-up to August 9th. And on August 9th, this is the station that you need to watch. On behalf of the whole team that's made this broadcast possible, and our sign language interpreter, who's been Joki Shega, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Wahiga Mwaura. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.